Hello, so this is my studio. I'm Sue Turner. I'm going to show you the process of making that I use to produce the current body of work on landscapes that I've been involved with for the last couple of years. I basically use two techniques. One is a coiling method, and I call these strata pots. I'm trying to combine many different types of clays in one form, and I like to texture the clays with grits and grogs and whatever I can find to make the clay body interesting. And these I call the fragment pots, which are a sort of patchwork. They make me think of the landscape, the fields, the long view, rather than either the paths we walk or the strata from under our feet. Actually, they came about, the fragment pots came about as a byproduct of the strata pots, because I ended up with small pieces of clay which I then pieced together. So those are two I did earlier in true Blue Peter fashion. I have two here that I have started to make, and I'm going to add a little bit of clay to each of those for you to see how I work. So fundamental to my way of working is the clay preparation, and maybe you can see from this small sample here, I recycle clay. So that means I put dried up clay into a bucket with water, and I use clay of different colours for that process. So this one you can see is just softening to be recycled. This one has had some paper added to it, so that's going to be a paper clay, a white stoneware paper clay. This one has been made into a clay. It's a porcelain. It's got paper added to it, so it's a porcelain paper clay. You can see the paper fibres.
Why do you add paper to it?
You add paper to it for strength and for lightness, really. It burns out and helps to make the form light. This is a black clay, and this is a white St Thomas that I need to get the whizzer on to work, to mix. Once I've got the clay slurry, I then add different things to my clay slurry, and some of the things that I might add are perlite, which I did have a sample of. Oh yes, there we go. So I might add perlite, or I might add sand, I might add grog, I might add bulgar or grits or gravels or whatever, you know. I have quite a wide range. Sometimes it's twigs, sometimes I like to use the grit that they put down for the grouse on the moors. You know, where I can reference moorland, I will use things from there. So then I have various different clay bodies to use for the construction of the forms. So this is a piece of that paper clay that we've just seen there. You can see that it's had the paper's just slightly discoloured it, but that burns out in the firing anyway. So I'm going to show you how I might add an interesting texture to a piece of clay. And what I do tend to use is a plaster slab, which works very well for this job. So I'm going to play. I did do a catering course as a young person, and I think that my love of this part of the process comes from those days. So that's
like cooking.
It is, and it's quite playful. It's quite instinctive. So I've added onto there some Parian slip, which is a white slip. I've added some blue slip, which is where you add the colour to some of the liquid clay.
And
this is a little bit of
do you
green.
add stains, ceramic stains, or oxides, or both?
I tend to use oxides, really, because I'm all the while trying to keep my work quite earthy and natural. So I would sometimes then add, this is actually talc, but I like to add a bit of powder. These are called spangles. So
iron spangles.
Iron spangles. So for this particular piece, we'll add those. So then the thing I want to do is to roll this clay just a little bit more than I have done there, and then I want to see what I can pick up off this plaster back with this clay. Very much again the pastry. I did this catering course when I was 16, so it goes back a long way. So it's definitely a throwback to those days.
Isn't it? How everything just converges.
Yes. Let's have a look if I've managed to do it. Get it the right consistency.
That looks really interesting.
So I've got a very interesting piece of clay there.